once again, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Deroy, what do you make of the results that we've seen so far, especially in states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, of all places?
Annie, well, it's great to talk to you. And I saw the news about Francesca Hong not making it, and I must say I was disappointed. I was hoping that she would get the nomination, and I think it would have been very easy for Tom Tiffany to defeat her, especially with her comments about being opposed to Thanksgiving. I think she hates Halloween. She also is opposed to interracial dating. She also said that tipping is, I think, an extension of white supremacy culture and slavery. I mean, it's wow. You can't make this stuff up. So I think this guy who won, David Crowley, the Milwaukee County executive, it's going to be a much tougher opponent for Tom Tiffany to battle this fall. But and of course, we won't be able to. I don't think he's got this list of crazy comments like Ms. Hong has had. So I think the people of Wisconsin voted. The Democrats voted with their brains, maybe not their hearts, and thought let's put somebody in who actually has a much better chance of winning. And I think that's what they did last night.
You know, Deroy, I've said this, I've written this on my Substack, and I've really can't get away from the thought that as much as Donald Trump has remade the Republican Party, the fact that any sort of adjacency that a moderate capitalist Democrat could have towards rubbing elbows with Donald Trump it makes them say, I can't say it out loud. I can't make this a public opinion that I have, even though I think that socialism would destroy the United States of America. You've got the common sense members of the Democrat Party who up until here recently, maybe within the last few weeks even, none of them want to speak up and say, like, I like economic prosperity via the free market system and capitalism in the United States. And now you have an overtaking, metastasizing socialist environment in the Democrat Party that they don't seem to know what to do with.
Well, actually, a number of Democrats in the House did step forward, and they came up with this statement called Promise to America. It said, among other things, we want safety, not lawlessness. We're proud, not ashamed of America. And you think and also said we're capitalists, not socialists. Do you think they'd be able to get out of 212 House Democrats, we'll get, maybe 150, 175 of them to agree with that? Well, guess what? Only 10 House Democrats were able to agree with the ideas or concept of we're capitalists, not socialists. We want safety, not lawlessness. We're proud, not ashamed of America. And there are more statements of that in that declaration, but that's the gist of it. And only 10 people signed on to it. I don't think those are extreme, crazy right-wing concepts. And I guess these days with the House Democrat conference where it is, these people are very far left to begin with. They're just some of them are being defeated by even further left DSA people. But the era of the moderate centrist Democrats is just over. That's just done. And you've got basically either super liberal Democrats in the House, and they're sometimes being defeated by actual Marxists, communists in the DSA. So I think that it's not a good day for the Democrat Party, where these people are, even the ones who are not as far out there as Francesca Hong is. The folks who are there right now are not any kind of moderates or any kind of centrists by any measure of those terms.
Deroy, I hear a lot of people. This is how I feel like I really know that the moderate Democrat pundits, the ones who are they're kind of supposed to be the translators, where they take what the socialists are saying and they soften it and they package up, wrap it up in a pretty bow, and try to serve it to the American people to be like, oh, they're not serious, or they just think that people should have health care that they deserve, but they don't ever talk about, of course, the policy to get there. I wonder if you have thoughts on the correlation that I see a lot, like Adana Brazil of a few other people saying the Republicans had this movement. It was a Tea Party movement in 2010. They're having their Tea Party moment over in the Democrat Party. Is the DSA and the Tea Party, are there any cross-section moments here politically that you can see?
Well, I mean, certainly their ideas are. I think the DSA is much further left than the Tea Party ever was to the right. Let's put it like that. So, I mean, in terms of where they are relative to their belief in the American system, I think they're two different universes as far as that goes. I think you may have a parallel insofar as the DSA folks have gotten some people on the ballot as the Democrat nominees. People like Abdul El Sayed in Michigan, who may be exciting and set the blood pressure or set the pulse up for people on the far left. Are they going to be able to make it after November? Will they make it all the way to election night and win? That's a big question. There were some Tea Party candidates who were nominated back in 2010. One who comes to mind, I can't think of her name right now, but she was the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate in Delaware. And she did this commercial where she said, "I'm not a witch." I remember this. And she was wearing, at the time, a black dress with a bunch of smoke behind her. She kind of did look like a witch. And I think she was a Tea Party favorite. She went on to lose handily, unfortunately. So I think some of these, there'll be a parallel insofar as some of these DSA people might stir up a lot of excitement in the primary electorate, but when it comes to a general election, they're going to get defeated because they're just so far out there. I think it's also important for the Republicans not to take them too lightly and assume, oh, these people are crazy, they're not going to get elected. I mean, I would take all these people seriously. I'd run very tough campaigns against them. One thing that the DSA folks all have working in their benefit is that the Democrat electorate on the left are very motivated. They hate Donald J. Trump's guts. They will crawl over lava to get the polls. And I don't know if you're going to have quite that level of enthusiasm on the right, in particular when you look at things like John Thune sending the Senate away for a 5-week vacation. You know, we want those people to be there, voting on the Save America Act, voting on Reconciliation 3.0. Putting forth the America First agenda and getting as much of this stuff onto President Trump's desk as possible. And the House has passed a whole bunch of stuff, and it went over to the Senate, and they voted on one or two things and put Todd Blanche in as Attorney General, and then took 5 weeks off. This is disgusting. This is going to drive down the morale of the base. It'll leave a lot of people unenthused and frustrated. And you want Republicans walking into the polls, happy, singing, whistling, and bringing along their friends and neighbors, not in the corner grumbling, thinking, "Gee, we had a great opportunity to get a lot of stuff done." And John Thune thought a 5-week vacation would be the thing to do. The Senate does not return from work until the Monday after Labor Day, not the Tuesday, not the day after Labor Day, the Monday after Labor Day, a whole week of vacation after Labor Day. This is disgusting. And it'd be one thing if they passed the Save America Act and got Reconciliation 3.0 and got some tax cuts and so on, and Trump passed these things, then great, reward yourselves with a 5-week vacation. But basically leave with so much of their business undone and not take a week off or 10 days off, but 5 weeks off. This is I think, legislative malpractice, and John Thune ought to be run out of office. He really should be removed as Senate Majority Leader. It's not good for the country, not good for the movement, not good for the party, and I think ultimately not good for the elections in November.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist. You can read his latest piece, Far Left Democrats Lose to Far, Far Left DSA Challengers at dailysignal.com. Deroy, do you consider the possibility that the Republicans going into the midterms could think to themselves, okay, I can beat a socialist. A moderate Democrat might provide me a little bit of a challenge, but do the Republicans running in the midterms, not take these socialists seriously at their own peril?
Well, potentially. I mean, somebody like Francesca Hong, let's say that she had gotten nominated, I think all of her crazy remarks would make her tough to beat. But as I say, there are some people who think, well, I hate Donald J. Trump's guts. I can't vote against him, but I'll go and vote against the Republican he endorsed and go vote against Tom Tiffany. And Francesca Hong gets in and, fights against Thanksgiving as governor. Well, I'm willing to live with that. So there is the risk, you do have the risk that some of these people actually will get in. But I think for the most part, they will be easier to beat than Democrats who are just regular establishment types. I think those are going to be tougher opponents. But yeah, you do run the risk that some of these crazy people actually do get elected. Sometimes that happens.
Deroy, do you feel good about the midterms for Republicans right now? You think we need to prepare ourselves for losing one or two chambers of the House of Congress?
I think what we have to do is fight extremely hard for that not to happen. And I've heard some people say, "Oh, don't worry, if there's it won't be a Democrat wave. If the Democrats take over the House, it'll be just a small majority." No, wrong. The objective is to keep the Senate, and the objective is to keep the House both in Republican hands. Look at the fact that you've got Mike Johnson there. Majority, very small majority. He was still able to pass Reconciliation 3.0 out of the House. They've been able to hold hearings on a whole bunch of different things. The Republicans control what happens in the House with a small majority. If you had a Democrat majority with Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker with a 2-seat majority or a 1-seat majority, the entire Trump agenda stops completely. And instead of passing more school choice or more security for the border or stronger defense or tax reduction or anything else, it's going to be nonstop impeachment. It'll be impeachment 3.0. They'll probably impeach Hegseth. They'll probably impeach Marco Rubio. They'll probably impeach Annie Frey and Deroy Murdock. They're going to impeach everybody on the right. We'll all be impeached. So we'll have that going. And so the objective should not be, well, okay, let's make sure the Democrats have a small majority. No, wrong. They have to be in the minority in the Senate. They have to be in the minority in the House, or it's just going to be, at best, the end of the Trump agenda, and at worst, it's going to be the end of the Trump agenda and nonstop impeachments between now and when the next president is sworn in January of 2029.
Man, Deroy, if they do that, let's have lunch at 1:05 Central Time together if we're free at this time. You and I have had these meetings for quite some time, and they're going to be going crazy. You know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. And there's a lot at stake, and the good news is that in this country, the people still have a say, but they got to get involved and get engaged.
They got to show up.
Yeah, amen to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us today, Deroy. It's always good to have you.
All right. Great to be with you. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, is a great organization, and Fox News contributor. If you want to check out his latest piece in the Daily Signal, where I like that he always brings a lot of data to the conversations. He certainly does have